Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Repeat Ron, and today we're going to be doing another Deep Rock Galactic tier list. This is with the EPC Overclocks. This is the plasma pistol the driller gets, and we're going to be talking about each of their overclocks. I have got to use each of them, and they have some interesting ones. So let's go over them and talk about each of them and where I would place them. So our first one is energy rerouting. Energy rerouting gives you 16 more battery capacity and a faster charge speed by about 50%. Regardless of what build you're going for, whether you're going for more of a charged up build or just a regular shooting build, even when you're just going with the regular shots, you often use charged shots anyway. So this one's pretty good overall and can work with any build, and there's not a whole lot to it, but it's still good, so I'd put it into B tier. Our next one is magnetic cooling unit. This one increases your cooling rate and also decreases the heat buildup when you charge up a shot. That can be pretty good too. That makes it so you can follow up more charged shots without overheating your gun as easily, and if you do overheat your gun, it will cool down a little bit quicker. So once again, it's a overclock that works pretty much with any build that you want to take with the gun. It works pretty well if you're just spam firing the gun too. I actually really like the magnetic cooling if you're doing that. Again, it's another clean overclock that has no real downside to it. It doesn't do a ton, but it's by no means a bad overclock. So I think I'd also put this one into B tier. I think I'd put it a little bit above energy rerouting. It seems pretty solid overall to me whenever I used it. So let's talk about them. Our first one is heat pipe. This makes it so it costs 2 less ammo whenever you're using a charged shot, and your charged up speed is 30% faster. That is pretty nice. This does come at the cost of your charged shots now double the heat generation, so your plasma pistol is more likely to overheat, and your heat builds up faster when you are charging. This one can come at a little bit of an issue. This one used to be quite good before they changed the way that you used the EPC before, where you could use it for mining. You still can use it for mining, and it's still pretty good at that, but it used to be pretty crazy when you put heat pipe on it, because heat pipe was just a straight upgrade for it. It still is. It's still a really good one for that, and it's still a pretty solid overclock for every other build that you want to use, so long as you're using charged up shots. If you're just spamming them, it's okay. There's not really a downside to taking heat pipe with most of the builds, so I would probably put this one up into A tier. It's pretty good all the way around. Our next balanced one is heavy hitter. This increases your damage by 1.6 times, which is pretty good. Having an extra 60% damage is always nice. But this comes at the cost of 32 battery capacity, so you lose out on ammo overall, which can be a bad thing. And this also increases the heat generation from normal shots. So as you're spam firing this, it will build up faster. And that's usually how I actually build this one. I generally take it with the modifications that do even more just regular shot damage. Also for extra ammunition to mitigate the minuses on this, and for faster cooldowns on normal shots. That's usually what I go with heavy hitter, and it works out pretty well. This one actually feels pretty good to be using the plasma pistol as a secondary weapon for shooting at somewhat long range. It's still not good at long range. The plasma pistol is pretty much never going to be good at long range, at least with its current mechanics, because the travel time is just so slow that it makes it really inconsistent at long range. But at medium range, it's pretty good for this, and at close range, it's quite good. If you just want to be spamming shots, I really don't have a problem with heavy hitter. I think it makes the plasma pistol a pretty decent secondary, so I would put this one probably also into A tier. Up next is Overcharger. Overcharger increases your charge damage by 50%. It increases the charged area damage by 50%, and it increases the radius by 20% of the charged blast, which is all really cool. I like using the charged blast with this. This comes at the cost of costing 2 extra ammo to charge up your shot. So that can drain through your ammo faster, and you have a slightly longer cooling rate. That one I honestly didn't notice all that much because it's only 0.1 seconds, so pretty neglectable. And the way that I usually use this one is I charge it up, fire it into a crowd, fire it into a strong enemy, and then usually switch back to my primary, or maybe even switch to my C4 or something like that. That's usually how I use Overcharger, so it didn't really bother me all that much with the cooling rate. You can take another tier, I think it's 3 or 4, where you can make it so your charge shots are more ammo efficient, and then that pretty much makes it so it's a base ammo cost. So at that point, you're pretty much just dealing more damage, more area damage, and having a big area effect radius, which I like. I actually like using this for hordes, and it works pretty well against large enemies too. I think Overcharger might actually be one of the better overclocks for the plasma pistol, but I still don't know if I'd put it up into like S tier. It feels good, but I think I'm going to put it into A tier. It's a pretty solid all-around overclock in my opinion. And then our last one is Persistent Plasma. Persistent Plasma makes it so you have Persistent Plasma on a charged up shot. I don't think it counts for normal shots, but when you charge up a shot and it hits the ground, hits a wall, stops on it, well, I guess it doesn't stop on an enemy, it passes through them, but if you hit the ground or whatever around them, then it will start causing persistent plasma that deals damage over time to any bugs that are walking through it or flying through it. That can be pretty useful. I enjoy using this one. This one is the most visually appealing one because it's the one that actually changes the plasma pistol. I guess Overcharger changes it slightly, but not by too much. It just makes the plasma ball bigger. This one is pretty cool. I kind of like it, although I don't think it's that great because the cons to it are that you lose out on 15 charge damage and 15 area damage, which is a lot of downside to it. Now, this does work really well against swarmers, and it works really well against grunts that are pouring in because they will just be taking passive damage over time, and that extra charge damage, extra area damage doesn't really matter all that much compared to the damage over time effect. They even out, or it does better most of the time. If you're in a large area though, it can feel less impactful. If you're fighting a bunch of Mactera, it can feel less impactful. If you're fighting a large enemy, it does feel less impactful, but it still feels pretty decent in crowds. So if you want a dedicated crowd weapon, which, I mean, both of Driller's primary weapons really are right now, so you really don't need this one. That is one thing that kind of hurts it, is that I do like using it. It's a really fun overclock, but a lot of the time I don't find it necessarily better or a good alternative to either the flamethrower or the cryo cannon. Maybe when we get the new weapons it will be, but for right now it's honestly probably their weakest overclock for the EPC. But still, I don't really have anything bad to say about it. It's just a more specialized version of your weapon. I think I'd put this one into B tier, probably on the lower end. So that'll do it for this video. Thank you guys so very much for watching this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Next up, we're going to be looking at engineers' weapons, because I think the only one that we've looked at so far has been their grenade launcher, so I still got to look at their stubby submachine gun, their warthog shotgun, and the breach cutter. All three of those are very fun. I think the only one that I haven't tried out all the overclocks on yet is the breach cutter, so I will need to do that soon. That way I can actually make the list. Thank you guys so very much for watching this. I really do appreciate it. If you guys are new here and you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe. That way you get notifications whenever I post these videos. Special thanks to all the supporters of the channel. This list will be updated at the end of each month, and if you would like to be on this list, be sure that you join the YouTube membership program, linked in the description, or the Patreon, also linked in the description. Also, if you go there, you get early access to some of the videos, and you also, at least on the membership program, you do get a badge by your name, and you do get access to emotes that you can use. So thanks everybody who does that. I really do appreciate it, and I will talk to all of you guys next time. Till then, stay cool, and bye!